Did Doja Cat's album flop? Now, recently, Doja Cat has had a lot of controversy around her name on social media. I don't exactly know everything in too much detail because that's not necessarily what this video is about. But apparently, she's been dating some guy who apparently has a lot of scandals behind him. Her fans don't approve of her dating him. I'm not here to say whether her fans should be opinionated on who she dates or not. But according to them, apparently this guy has some offenses. I'm not going to say the word, but offenses in his history. And her fans were upset that she's dating him. And that isn't the only scandal that she's been a part of, because Doja went on a vent on social media and she spoke in a tone that her fans did not approve of. Doja Cat also recently released her song Paint the Town Red. She released the music video, and as of right now, it has 145 million views on YouTube. Doja Cat is on her The Scarlet Tour, and the American leg ends December 2023, and it picks up the European leg 2024 June. With all of this success and all of this controversy, somehow her album Scarlet still only managed to sell 72,000 units first week. So why? Is this an indication that Doja Cat might be falling off? An easy answer to that would be no. Doja Cat is most definitely not falling off right now. She's not falling off right now, and it doesn't look like she'll be falling off anytime soon. The reason why it looks like Doja Cat might not be performing the best right now is because people need to remember that Billboard only counts American streams and sales. Whenever Billboard reports units sold, it only takes American streams and sales into the equation. And naturally, this would mean that an artist will perform well on Billboard if a majority of their fan base is concentrated specifically in America. So let me leave you with a question. How is Doja Cat going to successfully sell tickets in and outside of America, but only receive 72,000 units sold first week? And this leads us to an easy conclusion. Doja Cat has a large fan base, and there's a possibility that the majority of that fan base might be outside of America. And this might give us an explanation as to how the album might not have sold too well in America, but she still has millions of YouTube views and is selling very well in her tour. Clearly, Doja Cat is in a very good place in her career. Her fans are very happy with her album. And I started noticing this trend when I saw Burna Boy's album Love Damini debuted number 14 on Billboard and only sold 25K first week. This is the same man that right now is on a tour that stretches in America, Africa, the Bahamas, Canada, and Europe. His last music video has 250 million views on YouTube. His song with Ed Sheeran, For My Hand, has 130 million views on YouTube. Keep in mind that both of these music videos were released in the span of 1 year, and his other smaller songs like It's Plenty are holding up a good 41 million views on YouTube as of right now. But he only sold 25K first week. That doesn't make any sense. Clearly, Burna Boy isn't just big, but might even be bigger than some of your favorite pop stars. But because the majority of his fan base isn't concentrated in America, that might lead us to assume that Burna Boy isn't nearly as big as he actually is, and he is huge. There also are other factors that come into play in a conversation like this. One being the fact that the streaming industry, as well as the internet at large, is extremely saturated right now. Right now, we're living in an era in the internet where there is way too much content to consume in one time. And that's a major reason why album sales aren't moving the way they used to move back in the day. Back in the day, people didn't deal with the same problems that we're dealing with right now as far as the internet goes. Back in the early 2000s and in the 90s, if your favorite artist dropped an album, it felt like an event. It felt like this is a moment that we need to cherish. This is a moment that doesn't come every day. We all need to stop what we're doing and we need to listen to this album right now, because it isn't every day your favorite artist or just a general artist that you like drops an album. But nowadays, we're living in an era where that artist that you just kind of like dropped an album, and that artist that you really like dropped an album, and your favorite 2 artists in the world also dropped an album, all within the span of the same month or maybe even week. And somehow we're expected to give them all an equal amount of attention and digest all their music. That is a very unrealistic standard to hold for the general audience like you or me. If you're anything like me, you want to receive an album that you like, listen to it, re-listen to it, properly digest into it, and then maybe even pick out your favorite songs from it. Properly understand what the artist was saying or was intending with that album. I don't have the mental capacity to listen to 5 albums in one day and digest them all. This is why back in the day, people used to see first week sales that stretch into the millions, but today, global pop stars are only selling less than 100K first week. Conclusion. Billboard is not a good measurement of success. Numbers in general are not a good measurement of success. Art is very subjective, so it's very difficult or maybe even impossible to say how we're supposed to judge its success. But I would recommend that the best way to judge an album's success is to see how well it resonates with the audience it was intended to resonate with. This is why I can say with full confidence that someone like Chance the Rapper released an album and that album was objectively bad. It was an objectively bad album, because regardless of whether it sold well or it sold terribly, one thing I can definitely say is that that album was not received well by its intended audience. This is coming from a Chance the Rapper fan, so I know what I'm saying because I am that audience. And when Chance the Rapper released The Big Day, he also announced a tour and then went back on his word and cancelled the tour. I can't remember the reason he gave, but we all know that the real reason is that the tickets weren't moving the way they were supposed to be moving because the album didn't do well. But when somebody like Doja Cat releases an album and then announces a tour for that album named after that album, and she's selling tickets while in and outside of America, that tells me that the album did exactly what Doja Cat intended for it to do, and that tells me that that album is a success. Now, I'm not a very big YouTuber. I basically don't even exist on this platform compared to everyone else. So if you like this video, please subscribe, because I promise you, if you like this video, other videos are also on their way that you definitely will like as well. And if you like this video, but not enough to subscribe, then I only ask that you just leave a like. A simple like can do so many wonders for a nigga like me trying to grow on this platform. Leave a comment, let me hear your opinions, and thanks for watching.